So first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the
Yes.
organizers to have me here. Thank you very much. And I think this panel is going to discuss the outside powers' role in the South China Sea. Um, after hearing the previous three speakers, I summarized that all the concerns goes to two main issues. First of all, is about concerns of freedom of navigation. The second is about uh, uh, the territorial and maritime dispute between China and the parties in the South China Sea and may cause or trigger more conflicts at the sea. So I think I will address the two issues separately here. And first of all, let's go to the freedom of navigation. Um, I think the freedom of navigation divides into two parts in the South China Sea. For the first one goes to the civilian uses of the ocean. The second is the military use or military passage of the South China Sea. Just as Sarah mentioned, lots of the military vessels, navies from Europe, from the U.S. transit the South China Sea as well as Taiwan Strait recent years. But to me, as far as I'm concerned, all the statistics I've got, both of the civilian vessels and the warship are never be impeded. The passage is, most of them are respected in the South China Sea. So we will have some statistics here. Um, from the statistic provided by Alien Ship Sea in 2023, there were approximately 1.67 million sailings of various types of ships in the South China Sea, including merchant ships, fishing vessels, and other ships. Um, there's a report from the SSPI has made some statistics also in that report to calculating the ships and the sailings in the South China Sea. And very interestingly, when they make some statistics on the or collecting the data on the countries where the ships are from, or the flag states or regions of those ships, they have the top 10 countries or regions listed here. And for the where the ships comes from, the top 10 will be China, Hong Kong, China, Singapore, Korea, Japan, Greece, UK, Norway, Bermuda, and Germany. And for the for those flag states, it will be China, Panama, Liberia, Marshall, Hong Kong, China, Singapore, Malta, Greece, Japan, and Bahamas. You'll see that on those on the tables, China is always on the top. So I think maybe China has a very strong interest of the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. So this is the first very interesting uh, uh, here. And for the military vessels, and the CSPI also made some statistics here, and it says that in 2033, the warships from all over the world also enjoys navigational rights here. And countries in and outside the region have surface forces presence over 20,000 ship days, not only the military activities of coastal state, but also from the extra powers, such as the U.S. military. And every year, the U.S. Navy maintains approximately 1,600 ship days for surface vessel present and undisclosed number of submarines in the South China Sea. So freedom of navigation, why we're talking about the freedom of navigation is also raised as a problem. I think because most of the use of the military vessels or the civilian vessels are not publicly reported to the but sometimes we have some incidents or get some response from China, it will be publicly reported to everyone. Um, China do response to the to those navigations, but to summarize, it just have four scenarios that China will make a response to those activities. First of all, it will you'll have some actions to the warships enter into the territorial waters of its mainland and Hainan Islands. This is the first scenario. The second category will be to the U.S. If the U.S. warships transit through the waters in parasols or the territorial waters in the parasols, and China will make some response. And thirdly, when foreign military vessels or paramilitary vessels enter into 12 nautical miles of Chinese controlled features in the South China Sea, maybe you will have some response. And fourthly, when the foreign military or paramilitary vessels excessively approach or intrude the PLA military exercise, maybe China will have some degree of responses. But despite of these limited situations, all those kind of passages are respected in the South China Sea. And you may think that in many of the issues, the U.S. Navy has trespassed in the EEZ. Why China believes that it's a provocative activities? I think that depends on situations. For one thing, sometimes the U.S. Navy goes in the very close to the outer edge of the territorial sea. Yes, from international law, it is within the EEZ. But if we put this action or activity into a context of a specific time, very sensitive time, or very sensitive situation, for example, between in the Taiwan Strait when the two sides have some intentions, or considering the locations, because China argues that it have territorial sea and the EEZ from both sides to the middle of the Taiwan Strait, which means that there are approximately about 60 nautical miles wide EEZ in the middle of the Taiwan Strait. But the US, you only choose the outer limits of the territorial sea to the mainland China to navigate. If we put all these factors together, we'll see that maybe China will have some response. And this kind of action and response have a very significant risk to cause misjudgments, confrontations, and conflicts. So I understand why the world will cares about the navigational rights here. But I think if we really want to resolve the problems, I think the most practical way maybe that China and the U.S. could sit down to have communications, talk about this, to control, and to make some declarations or joint statement. And secondly, we will consider about the disputes, about the territorial dispute and maritime dispute in the South China Sea. First of all, I'd like to say that the main dispute features in Spratly Islands are not situated in the major sea lane of the South China Sea. So the impact of the dispute is very to the freedom of navigation or to the navigation activities in the South China Sea is very limited. And secondly, we have some collisions, just as previous speakers mentioned, some collisions in the South China Sea in the hotspot, in some hotspots, especially in Spratlys. However, if we take these things into account, all these issues are more related to the sovereignty of the features, or can put it in a very simple way: who owns the features? First of all, is the Huangyan Scarborough Shoal, a high-tide feature in the South China Sea, and the Shanbingjiao Sabina Shoal, which is considered as high-tide feature by China in the South China Sea. And the Rengaizhao, China also claims the sovereignty over that shoal. By the way,
Professor Lee, I'm sorry to cut you off, but your time has sort of run out. So if you could wrap it up, please.
Okay, I will make a conclusion in 1 minute. So if you would just see the problems, I think it's not the whole story. if you think that, if you remember that the regional and bilateral mechanisms between the states in the Southeast Asia, you find that the dispute is there, but effort to de-escalate the conflict and manage those disputes are also there, and it also works. So in the conclusion, I will say that there's many fields that we should really care about. For example, the non-traditional security issues and the global commons and corporations here, and make the dispute and the management of the conflicts to the parties and to the ASEAN member states in China. And if the dispute between China and US on navigational issues for the two countries, and let the other corporation to involve us all to address the global commons. So I don't think that we preclude all the stakeholders outside this region, but all these parties should combine together to promote the parties, to create a good environment for those parties to resolve their problems. This all comes to the end. And if you want to get the report, you can access on this address. Thank you very much.